Hello, Oksana. Welcome to the Builder's Mind podcast.
Really happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good to have you here. So maybe we can start from learning more about how did you end up from corporate world to startup world? Because I saw you have done a lot of corporate before jumping to startup.
Yeah, sure. So I started my career actually a long time ago in one leading bank in the Baltics. So for me, it was super interesting period where I started when most of transactions were cash and manual. And when I left the bank, then 98% of transactions were digital. So this is where I actually learned beauty of digitization and transforming those like complex manual processes to beautiful digital ones. And so for me, it was like very logical to go from banking to fintech. And this is where I was almost 10 years building several fintech products, and it was tremendous learning for me how to build something like a bank from scratch, how to find first customers for it, how to spin off from a failed consumer business to B2B business. So I got a lot of courage from that, and it led me to starting my own business, Esgrid.
So Esgrid was your first startup that you tried, or was there something before that you tried and it didn't work out?
No. Esgrid is my first startup as co-founder. So far, I was more like being first employee in startup or being on executive level at the startup.
Okay, great. So maybe we can talk more about Esgrid and who came up with the idea and how did you all guys, together came to build Esgrid.
Yeah, we have 4 co-founders, which is not very usual, but I'm really happy to have all those guys together with me. So our journey started a bit more than 2 years ago, where I was looking into sustainable finance. So this concept started raising with banks talking how sustainability should be implemented into credit decisions. I really got curious about it, and then I studied a bit the basics of sustainable finance at Cambridge University, and I understood that this is like huge thing which is like coming in, and there are like a lot of challenges, especially which are related to value chains. So if you are thinking about like sustainability field, it includes very different parts. From one side, this is company itself, how sustainable operations they have, and then this like huge value chains what companies are having and how sustainability is managed there. So I was like particularly looking into value chain part, and this is where we met with my first co-founder Ot, who is ex-Pipedrive growth guy, and we started talking like what if we could like transform this like very heavy manual process into digital one and really help medium-sized enterprises to do it like very efficiently. And being like long-term startuppers, so we decided that we will not spend any cent on the building product before we will find first customer. So, this is what I learned the most maybe from my previous experience. Instead of spending a lot of money on building product or for hypothetical customer, let's get customer and then build product for them. So for us, it was pretty straightforward. We ran around 30 discovery interviews in the Baltics, talking to local banks, to local enterprises, and pretty soon we found our first customer, large retail company in Estonia. Those guys were like really open to start building like a project together. What is like cool that during those discovery interviews, we found our third co-founder, Katrin, who was at that time ESG lead at the largest telco in Estonia, and so she jumped in. We were already like 3 of us, and then we recruited Evgeny, who is our technical co-founder. And for me, like having like 4 co-founders actually was a very, very good setup because we covered all needed competencies as we started bootstrapping, and we were bootstrapping for 9 months. So for us, it was like very efficient way, to build up MVP, make a market discovery and go to market without any external funding actually.
Actually, so many people that I talked to before getting to talk to you a year ago was just like telling me that there is a very great founding team. And like when I look at the deck, I saw that, okay, this is a strong founding team, and that kind of shows a lot. But in the beginning, did you all kind of committed full time to Esgrid, or did you have your other duties and then just was doing this as a side project for a while?
Me and Dot basically were already mostly fully involved because we were doing like our consultancy a bit, but Katrin and Evgeny joined like fully after we raised money in spring last year. So it was like gradual development for us like as a team. But today, like we have fully committed founders, of course, and we have already 3 team members who joined our team during last year. And we have a couple of guys who are helping us like part-time. So all in all, we are 9 people currently working on Esgrid.
And can you just like say a bit about Esgrid, like what it is and what are the main value propositions and who are you targeting?
Yeah, so Esgrid is AI-powered supply chain sustainability platform. And basically, problem what we are solving is situation where medium-sized enterprises spending a lot of time, like months of manual work to manage their supply chain sustainability. And what we are doing, we're basically taking all those tasks what sustainability managers need to do and bringing them like in a digital way to our platform. And through that, we are saving a lot of time, money for customers and basically improving results as well. Because so far manual processes are costly, they're inefficient, and they are very poor in regards of outcomes, like what companies are getting from there.
And these companies like need it for some like regulation and regulatory reports, or why they need this like sustainability reports from suppliers or on suppliers?
Yeah. Managing supply chain sustainability is, of course, needed for compliance purposes, but it's actually like becoming more and more like normal part of daily business. If you are thinking about like, companies with large supply chains, they need to manage different types of risks inside supply chains. And those like sustainability related risks is a pretty important part of those. So like on our platform, what customers are doing today, they are collecting and analyzing data from their supply chains for sustainability report. But at the same time, they're like making due diligence for all new suppliers with whom they're engaging first time, or doing due diligence for those like higher risk suppliers like on a regular basis. We like to think about ourselves like business tool, not so much like RegTech or legal like compliance.
Okay, maybe it's a good time to see the product and then see how it works.
Yeah, sure. So I will be sharing my screen. I hope you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it. So maybe, we can start from what will be a normal journey for a customer or like user to be on Esgrid.
Yeah. So journey for our customer starts from making a deal, of course, with customer. And after a customer has accepted our offer, we are enabling them access to our platform where they basically can do 2 things. From one side, they can manage their own supply chain sustainability by requesting data, analyzing it. And from another side, they might be using it for providing data to their business partners. So you can imagine that one company A might be in both roles. They might like have supply chain or be like supplier for their business partners. And we have seen already during first 12 months such cases where company is operating on our platform in both roles. But today I will be more focusing on our classical case where company needs to assess their supply chain, understand risks, create report for a compliance purpose based on those identified risks, and basically like dig into data further for daily businesses. And the journey for customers starts with our invitation link. After a customer is onboarded, they can copy-paste the invitation link for suppliers on our platform, and they are usually sending it out themselves because we are not jeopardizing relationship between our customer and supplier, because this is like pure business, have their own like ways how they're communicating with suppliers, etc. And when this link is sent out, then basically this is where we are taking over. So instead of sending out some kind of Excels, collecting those, analyzing those manually, then customers basically are now sitting back and monitoring creation of needed ESG data like in real time. This is how it looks like. So after invitation link has been sent to suppliers. Suppliers are starting coming to our platform. And this is the beauty of our product. We have like this very, very strong network effect. So you can imagine that each customer is bringing to our platform hundreds of suppliers. And we as Esgrid, we do not need to spend any money on getting those companies to our platform. And the suppliers are coming to our platform. I will show a bit later how user experience looks like for them. But from the moment when suppliers are here, our customers can get real-time overview about their supply chain progress in regards of ESG assessment. They can see name of company, when company started assessment, what is the status, and if assessment has been completed, then they can see already initial evaluations of results from due diligence process. Based on provided data, system indicates already initial risks, what are extremely important for our customers to take into account when they're maintaining those business relationships with suppliers. And then, of course, I can go in each supplier specifically and see more detailed results on all aspects of sustainability of particular company. So, for example, I took one supplier and demonstrated to you how like summary on executed assessment looks like. So basically in each field of sustainability, like general, environmental, social, our clients can go into details and see what is the overall maturity level, what is level in particular topics, because ESG is very, very complex topic. There are like tens of different subtopics what you need to understand, like climate change or pollution under environmental, or if you're talking about social aspects, it's how company treats own employees or affects communities around this business.
And all this kind of scoring and the points that you have, so are they some kind of standard measurements, or is it more kind of Esgrid made formulas which somehow you calculate like one specific metrics?
Yeah, a product is based on universal standards developed by Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. So like all the way how we are collecting data and analyzing it is correspondent to this standard. But methodology, how we are particularly evaluating maturity level is basically very simple gap analysis based approach. So we basically letting company go through self-assessment and letting us know what is established already, what is not, and based on it, we are calculating what is this maturity level, like comparing it with maximum possible level. So this is gap analysis. We are not providing ESG scoring, which is a totally different field and is becoming creative, a regulated field. But we are providing like very open methodology where our customers can see how those valuations has been composed.
So just a follow-up question on here. So how do you translate this value proposition to the customers, which are paying for the service to be, kind of, and then they send this up to this, like to their suppliers? Like, how do you translate this in a business value for them and kind of what they get out of this?
Yeah, they're basically what we are selling efficiency and customers, by paying annual fee to Esgrid, they're basically cutting their costs on manual processes. And we are claiming that the fee, what they're paying to us, our fee is at least 10 times lower in comparison with costs which are created through manual process, what they are doing without Esgrid. And the value, what they are getting out of this product is granular. So it covers savings on legal analysis, what we, with our legal partner, have done already for them. So our customers do not need to monitor those regulations. Our product is always up to date to those regulations. Second, they are saving money on running the process for data collection. So like instead of sending out Excels, reminding suppliers, getting Excels back, like going through line by line, our platform does all this stuff for them with a digital questionnaire. And third is what I will be showing soon, like automated report based on collected data and automated analysis with AI help. So how you can get like specific aspects of collected data. So all in all, like those like different tasks what we have implemented already in digital way on our platform are saving to our customers a lot of money. Yeah. And so like we are providing, as I said, like overview on supplier level. Our customers can even go into very, very like detailed view where they can see specific answers. We are collecting verification documents because in some places it's extremely important to verify that provided data is true. And then additionally, our customers can go on aggregated level. So from one side, they have like interest in understanding of situation of particular supplier. On other side, they want to see aggregated view on their entire supply chain. And here we are following basically the same structure. So you see how their supply chain looks like in regards of environmental, social, governance aspects, and then they can generate one-click report. So this is like huge job what sustainability managers are doing for weeks. Here they can do it within seconds. And the report basically is extracting all the data which is collected on our platform for this customer and provides it already in structured way, highlighting all the findings about a specific area, shortcomings, about identified risks, maturity evaluation, and till the very specific KPIs on supply chain level. And recently we have introduced AI Copilot to help our customers like very, very quickly find answers to very complex questions. So for example, I have been asking here such questions like how many companies measured their emissions. Copilot is capable to provide within seconds like answers to it. So it was in this case there were 4 companies, and it provides specific like names of companies. It can even like calculate what was the amount of emissions or what was the amount of measured resources like usage, etc., etc. So this like Copilot is meant like our first prototype for a sustainability agent for sustainability managers in the future, which will be assisting our customers and suppliers in each step of process on our platform. So this is like how user experience for a customer looks like. And if we go to supplier side, so we are claiming ourselves being a platform with the best supplier user experience. And we do mean it because if to look at other solutions, main effort is made like how to make customers' life simpler. We are doing a lot of effort how to help suppliers really go through the process, which is very, very difficult for them. Because usually suppliers are SMEs. They are not familiar with all this topic at all. They do not understand the terminology or rationale behind. And our platform is basically making it as simple as possible for them. So what happens on the supplier side? And supplier comes through invitation link. As you remember, our customer is sending it. They are doing very simple sign up, and then they are landing on our platform where they see a very clearly structured digital questionnaire, which is meant for collecting critical data from their side. And our questionnaire is modular, which means that our system takes into account supplier profiles. It's very like complex field in regards of different sector specifics. So we are like smartly identifying some types of suppliers and requesting specific data only from them. So for example, one of our customers is dairy company. They have very different types of suppliers like logistics or farmers or some kind of sugar producers or whatever. So in this sense, like they need different type of information from those suppliers. And our platform differentiates those and asks, for example, information about livestock only from farmers, not asking such type of information from other suppliers. So like a lot of like smart things are integrated into digital questionnaire, what Excel never ever is capable to do. What is like really cool in regards of user experience? So from day one, we are one of the first ESG platforms on the market who are providing AI-powered supplier support. So our Copilot was one in this kind a year ago. And what it does, it basically guides suppliers in each place with supportive explanatory notes. And then, of course, suppliers can interact with our Copilot if they do not understand question or they want to understand where they can find answers to particular questions.
And suppliers receive the form in their own local language, or it's all in English?
Today we have localized the platform as we started from Baltics to Baltic languages. So it's in English, Estonian, Latvian, Lithuanian. And moving forward, we will be localizing it for large markets, of course. But today, for some, let's say, non-Baltic languages, we are providing simple browser-based translations as well. And we understand that actually this localization is very crucial in our product because, again, smaller companies are not capable to understand content in English.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity is that I assume that there might be suppliers from Asia, Africa, different continents. So somehow do you consider the weight of the geography, which continent are they from in terms of the kind of metrics or measurements? Because, different regions, they have different sustainability kind of tolerance, let's say. Maybe in Asia, there are things which are normal, but then in terms of sustainability in Europe, they might seem a bit off. So do you kind of consider this geography differences in terms of how things are being done? Just kind of to consider, that there shouldn't be more minuses for some regions, based on where they're from.
Basis for supply chain due diligence is actually set based on material topics for our customers. So, for example, if our customer considers responsible water usage and air pollution as material for themselves, there is no difference where supplier is coming from. They need to be aligned with those criteria. So in this sense, requirements are universal, independently on the geography of suppliers. But what we definitely will be doing in the future, what we have not introduced yet, but we are already in the progress of developing it, where we'll be introducing benchmarking of suppliers on our platform. So just showing it when suppliers have finished their assessment process, and they basically receiving the same overview of results like our customers do. So we are very, very transparent in regards of outcomes. And this is usually surprising suppliers because if it's Excel-based process, they never get anything back. But in our case, immediately after submitting their assessment, they see, okay, my results are such. And very soon we will be introducing here benchmarking, where we will be comparing each supplier within their sector with other suppliers on our platform. So today we have already 550 different companies from 30 countries on our platform who came through those supply chains. This year, we plan to grow in regards of supplier base at least 10 times. So we will have very good basis for establishing very good benchmarking tools for our suppliers. And it will help suppliers to understand how they're performing in comparison with their peers in the same sector.
I assume that at some point you might have the marketplace for suppliers, If a company is looking for a different supplier, then they can go through the list and then find the ones which are matching more their profile.
Absolutely. It was planned for from one side, we definitely want to create some kind of, positive competition between suppliers, because this is how we will be changing attitude towards sustainability topics. But from another side, what we're really looking for, how to help suppliers, because our job is not ending with providing results on assessment. We want to go further from here by supporting suppliers to close those gaps, what they have identified during this process. And for that, we will be introducing during this year, as I said, more use cases for our AI agent, which will be helping them to close those gaps. Plus, we are thinking about establishing some marketplace for sustainable solutions as well. So, for example, if, let's say, a company needs to improve their GHG emissions, which are usually very much related to energy what they're using in their production. Then we are looking for possibility to bring like green energy providers like to them, so they can like easily like switch their non-green energy to green energy. And a lot of like use cases where like partnerships with those like sustainable solution providers might be helpful.
Let's continue with the demo.
Actually, I even do not have anything like to show more. So this is like what we have went to the market and what is live today, and maybe like what is interesting that we have different segments on our platform. So we have started with supplier assessment meant for medium-sized enterprises. A bit later, we introduced products for the financial sector. So today we have product for banks. We have partnered recently with the largest bank in the Baltics, Swedbank, for a pilot project where they were first to use our platform to assess their corporate loan portfolio. And we have products for VC, where like VC funds can assess their startups on our platform. And we have first customer from private equity. So what we see is that for us, it's very easy to create different types of ESG due diligence tools for different sectors, but our main focus is on medium-sized enterprises and supplier ESG assessment.
So my question is that when you try to focus on one customer segment in terms of industry or the size, so how do you decide and what's the process looking like? And what kind of metrics do you log to choose a specific segment or customer?
I think honest answer is that in the beginning we were opportunistic. You know, it's like young startup. You're just like going and see what will come. So we started like with this attitude. That's why we like created 4 different segments like on our platform. But during 12 months, we understood like through sales process. This is like where actually like main intelligence is coming. Like so how easy is to get those customers? How universal needs those customers have? So it basically like drives us to understanding that our ideal customer is medium-sized enterprise who needs kind of basic solution today. They do not need very sophisticated functions or features like financial sector, for example, needs. And that's why our like decision was very like straightforward that we will go for those. Especially keeping in mind that the market is huge if we're even talking only about European Union, because this year like tens of thousands mid-caps will start preparations for the sustainability reporting in 2026. And this is where we are coming very naturally into game because they need like digital solutions to do it very efficiently.
How much time for validating one customer segment through the, just like trying to make the sales? And if it not happens and you switch it, how long you kind of give yourself time?
I can bring example with VC product, for example. So we like created product within 1 week because for us it was like just like making a bit different version of supplier assessment. And then we tried to sell it like within 1 month. And then we saw that there are like very different needs talking to those potential VC. And we understood that for us, it will be like distraction, to move from standardized product to very like customized product. That's why we dropped like a VC focus basically after 1 month. With banks, for us, it was like a bit different case because Baltic banks agreed on a standardized approach. So for us, it was very easy to implement something what they have already agreed. And we, of course, started selling it, and we have already first customers in banking sector, but we are not, again, like due to this complexity of this sector, prioritizing them over like enterprise sector. So all our sales strategy is built around like enterprise sector and supplier ESG assessment right now.
What is a kind of normal process for selling to a SME from your experience so far? Like what are those steps that you have to take and to make the actual sales?
It's a very good question. I think that in the beginning, when you're not having any brand awareness, what was the case for us, you're a young startup in B2B business, which is like really difficult and very much like brand based. So the only way to start is founder-led sales. So this is what we were doing. So we just like utilized our LinkedIn network, doing outreach, cold outreach to people we knew. And through that, we got our like first customers who created first strong references. And then like, I think next step is always how you're building awareness around those like references. So it's like, talking about those on LinkedIn, creating events where you're inviting customers to talk about their experience, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that we were like super successful in building this brand awareness in the Baltics. We did few very smart moves by building community of sustainability managers, as we understand very well who is our buying persona. So we've been like putting a lot of efforts on gathering those people around us. And this is not about selling our products. This is more about creating like-minded people community around our brand, creating like regular events, sharing valuable information with them, etc. So it helped a lot because like people, especially in small market like Baltics, are talking to each other and gained us trust. And what else? And we've been like a lot of looking into how to increase visibility of our impact, and by winning a Baltic Sustainability Award in a process category definitely was very monumental for us, because it like verified the value of our product for our targeted customers, and we got like a lot of attention thanks to that.
Big congrats on that. I remember when you announced that. So can you walk us back to your first sales? Because you mentioned that you guys made the first sales before building the MVP. So how did you convince the first customer, and how long it took you guys to onboard them, and then how long it took to actually deliver? And were they happy with what you delivered as the first version?
Yeah, very good questions. So let me recall, we started running our like discovery interviews in 2023 winter, and this is how we got to our first customers, outreached, as I knew CFO from there, and suggested like just to talk about the idea. And when we were discussing the idea, they basically said that yes, we are going into reporting next year, so we definitely need some process to collect data from our supply chain. We do not have anything in place right now, so we can try it. And of course, it was like a free pilot, so we could not charge money right away. It was like more, them helping us to define like what is needed, and we are providing them like pilot for free. So it was like a win-win deal. And as soon as we shake hands for that, then it took us around 4 months to set up like this minimal product, because again, like we were bootstrapping. It was like part-time. We even have not had our technical co-founder yet with us, so I put my husband, to program everything. So I use like home resources as much as possible. And in autumn we were ready with MVP, and basically pilot started in November 2023, and it was very limited pilot with our customer inviting like 20 something like suppliers to our platform. And as usual, like with MVP, you have very buggy version, isn't it? So it was like us sitting on background and really monitoring each step and fixing on the go. So it was like a lot of stress around it, but we did it. So like basically we did the job, what had to be done. And customer was happy. And what was like really cool, that one of those suppliers who came like as first suppliers on our platform converted to paying customers right away. So it was like very strong validation for us that our product has this product-led growth capabilities. So if supplier is coming to our platform, going through the process, I understand that they have the same issue. They're contacting us and saying, I need your product to work with our supply chain.
I remember the first version. I think you did a demo for us a year ago, and now it looks, of course, much better.
Of course.
But so my question is like, how did you conceptualize an MVP from just an idea? Like how did you come up with what should the journey looking like, and kind of how long it took you guys just to really like 4 months was okay, the whole MVP building, but like how long did you spend time on this user journey or how it should look like first?
Yeah, we were listing like what are those like tasks what the customer like had to do, and then we basically, for us it was very logical to start from data collection, because you cannot do anything without data. So like MVP was defined pretty well that let's build like a minimal product that collects data from suppliers in the most efficient way.
Like
and then we were like, we were like talking to potential suppliers, asking them what would make the process like more comfortable for them, and provide better results. Because what customers are looking for, they're looking for success rate. So how big part of suppliers who are coming to our platform really completing the process, and in our case, it's around 80% today, which is like much bigger than when you're talking about Excel. So it was like, it wasn't difficult for us to define scope for MVP. Of course, it was like a bunch of different designing of experience itself. And I would say, of course, we have done a lot of improvements during this year, mostly like how we are helping suppliers like to onboard and maybe understand questions. But all in all, it's basically the same like concept what we had in mind from the very beginning. I don't know will it change in the future, but today it does this work very well.
I assume that these suppliers are mainly, manufacturing companies, and they're old school type of people. Did you, somehow do interviews with them to understand their journey and then kind of make it more interesting for them? Or kind of, it's really hard to get some insights from suppliers for improving the platform?
We actually do a few things. So first of all, in the beginning, we basically call to each supplier, to ask about experience. It's very, inconvenient, but it's very, very useful. And we got a lot of information from there. Some suppliers are very active, so they're like giving their feedback continuously, and we are measuring their satisfaction like right after assessment. So we are asking like satisfaction rate with product. So I would say that we are getting pretty much feedback already today. And as part of our like customer journey, always after assessment has been done, we are doing interview with customer as well to understand like how good experience they had, what we could improve, and it gives like again a lots of like ideas for our further product development roadmap. So we are like in the core, we are not developing anything speculatively, and I think this is like my main knowledge and lessons from previous experience, that you actually do not know what your users or customers want. You need to ask it, or you need to understand where they're like struggling. That's why we are monitoring all the experience. We are talking to those guys and basically like prioritizing our development based on all this information.
Yeah, like moving on to these new features, which we talked, benchmark AI agent and also marketplace on. You have, I'm sure you have also a list of some more features. So how do you approach on which ones to do first? And is there some kind of thinking behind it? Like, okay, which ones to prioritize first and build them. Also, another question on this part is that how do you decide on the timing of it? Because sometimes, you don't want to give so many updates for the customers because they get used to new features every week or every month.
Yeah.
And then their expectation might go higher. So like how do you approach on like how to prioritize and also how to kind of do it on a timely basis?
We agreed that we are like a product-driven organization, of course, but product is driven by business targets. So which means that we have like very clear business targets for 2025, which includes revenue growth, retention of customers, quality improvement, etc. And basically like our product roadmap is like built based on those like categories. So each idea which is coming in, is it from customer or from the team, we always are like looking towards like those like targets what we have agreed. Support us like in earning IRR what we're targeting, or does it support us like to ensure that less than 25% of customers churning us like this year, etc. So it helps a lot because there are so many cool ideas what you could work on. True. But are they helping you with like achieving those milestones what you need to achieve during this year? It's questionable. And we have a really cool chief product officer, Rainer, who came from Katana. So he's running like all this like prioritization process, like basically based on agreed business targets. And we have weekly product how we're naming it, it's like a workshop where we're, discussing different product ideas and then like picking up those which seems like serving the best our like business targets and creating some kind of timeline for it.
And like when you have a new feature, which of course might mean a new pricing for the customer or maybe a bit more higher price. So how do you communicate this price changes to a customer, and how often, do you think that do you communicate that? Because like you don't want them to be, kind of like deciding on the pricing every day, and then that gives them a room to maybe reconsider everything.
I think that our business specific probably is that we are not communicating pricing publicly because it's we have like a basic product and enterprise product. Enterprise product anyways is subject to a deal, but standardized product, even like as we are still like in discovery stage, we have actually been changing our pricing already 3 times during last year. You start with very low prices because you have very limited product and no brand. And now, like in the end of year, we basically tripled our pricing because we had already pretty nice suite of functionalities and references from customers. So I would say that we do not know yet how this future process regarding communicating price increase will look like. But we are like really using this grandfather principle in regards of our like earlier customers. So we really respect and value that those customers trusted us like in the very first stage. So we are like very carefully thinking through like increasing prices for them. And of course we are doing it, but on very reasonable level.
Great. And I remember you said that most of your focus and clients are now from the Baltics. So my question is that where are you looking next to expand? And do you think that you can use the same playbook of expanding to Latvia and Lithuania to other countries, which you're aiming?
Yes. First of all, we are looking this year already to earn at least half of revenue outside Baltics. It's Nordics and Benelux, what we are looking right now in. We believe that those first go-to-market strategy playbooks are working nicely, but we are developing new channels. So as I said, we started with a cold outreach by founders. This year we are introducing self-onboarding, which allows us to establish inbound channel, utilizing all those advertisement opportunities in internet, and plus we are entering into partnerships. So what we did last year, we established a few very important partnerships for us with one ESG reporting platform, Mitigate from Latvia. So together with those guys, we are offering already a full solution to customers. We partnered with Credit Info, which is business data registry, global one. And with those guys, we are currently creating ESG hub for the Baltics. So we're looking into more powerful ways to acquire a lot of customers at once through those partnerships, because we don't believe into recruiting a lot of salespeople in all countries because it's very, very costly. So we are trying to be smart about our acquisition strategy.
Yeah, especially with the first sales, I think the founders can make, and then that would be a good entry to those regions. And then you will see how it goes. And maybe I think once you have a good brand on board from one country, then that could be a very good case study to reach out to other companies and then onboard them. Also, just moving to the next topic, which is fundraising. Congrats on raising 500 here. So my question is that how did you come up with the number? Why did you guys pick 5K as your?
It's a good question. To be honest, I think it was kind of gut feeling because we were so early that we did not, did any sophisticated financial prognosis, but we won startup day pitching competition, which gave us first part of this investment with participation of Esgrid, and then it was logical for us that okay, let's invite other investors to get runway at least for 12 months, so we could really create some first traction and see is there a problem at all? Because it was just idea for us and some initial validation. So I would say no, sophisticated math behind it, just gut feeling in the beginning. Today, I think it was a good move not to take too much money because, taking too much money, what I have seen working for other startups makes you a bit lazy, which means that you're becoming less creative in regards of how much stuff you can actually do for free. And this is like what I'm always like keeping inside our team, that there is a lot of stuff you can do for free. You do not need to buy those stuffs. And our recruitment policy is as well like that we are inviting new people to join us only when we cannot anymore like do it with existing team. So we are really like cost cautious. I don't know, maybe it's not good. Maybe some founders find that it's somehow restricting our growth. But I would say it has been like our success factor so far, because we like avoided a lot of waste thanks to this attitude.
Yeah, because also if you raise more money, you need to deliver different KPIs, because like you had much more money to grow, and then you need to prove that. Because lots of founders, when I talk with them, they ask, okay, how much money to raise? And I feel, some of them, they just, come up with some random number. But kind of my suggestion was more like, okay, just like, please, write down your main cost just to come with some number that you might be in a good position next year or 2 years. But from your experience, like, are there some kind of key factors to consider when deciding on the amount, kind of be meaningful of this cost, or maybe the runway, or some KPIs which you think that help you guys, with choosing 500K?
I think it's healthy to think mostly about earning revenue. Like, as you see, like, market today is not favoring anymore, like, just brave ideas, but it favors like startups who are capable to start earning revenue as soon as possible. So like what we had target to earn like certain revenue by the end of last year. We almost achieved it. So like you need to set some kind of like stretching target, and then you need to do this reverse engineering and basically understand, okay, what I need to do to get to this revenue. And when you can have those answers, you understand what kind of like costs will be associated with those activities. So for us, it was clear that we are not going to spend money on advertising. We are not going to spend money on salespeople. So for us, it was mostly about like keeping teams small and doing a lot of like sales and product development with this like very limited resources to get to this initial revenue milestone. So I would definitely encourage to think in this way: set the revenue target and calculate back like what do you need like conservatively to do it.
Get there, yeah. I remember, still sustainability is a hot industry to build, but I remember some years ago, it was way more hot. It was like AI. Everyone was building something on climate change or sustainability. But then when AI came up, it became a bit overshadowed by that. So my question is that how it is to fundraise for a sustainability startup or climate tech now, and do you somehow feel that there's less focus now on this sector because of new era, or some like also like politics are changing?
I would say it never has been easy field. Probably maybe like before we started Esgrid, there was a hype about like all this GHG calculators and such stuff. So today this market is very, very pragmatic, and what investors are like really looking for, they are looking for kinks of some kind of like vertical. So like I would say, if you have like a solid business case with deep knowledge about industry where you would like to win, there are investors who are like really like interested and looking into your case. At least from our side, we are not prioritizing fundraising over like business. My ideal case is to get this profitable as soon as possible, so that we can like invite investors to join our like growth, like on top of already covered baseline, not to burn a lot of money, like several years to get there. And I think that there is like some kind of misconception about like market itself. Like at least like in the end of year, I've been approached by many seed investors. So we are not entering yet seed round. We probably will be doing in the end of this year. What I've heard is that many VCs who are not specializing in this field, they do not even understand what is going on in this market. So everyone thinks that the market is overcrowded. And from others outside, I'm talking to customers, and 9 out of 10 customers do not have tools in place. So my question is how this market can be overcrowded if customers are actually like not using anything. So I think that it's important for VCs to do like a bit their homework better and start understanding that ESG is not only one monolith piece, but it consists of many different solutions. And the place where we are, I would say the supply chains are next big thing in ESG field, because it's totally underdeveloped right now. And there are like only few players or like actually doing something like essential in this field. Yeah. And if you look at this like this, then you see like huge market opportunities.
And I'm sure like you saw the news about Trump's executive orders for sustainability. Just do you have some thoughts on this? What does it mean for you guys, or what does it mean for the whole Europe or other countries in terms of sustainability?
Yeah, I've heard the guy's speech at his big inauguration.
Same here.
And yeah, it was, how to say, it was very entertaining. What I'm thinking, of course, the world is changing, and you know, it goes in waves. 4 years ago, or when his last time was, he quitted the Paris Agreement as well, what he did right now, and it did not stop, like, you know, Europe and Asia, like, to continue with very strong sustainability agendas. I think that there is no, like, point to make any changes into sustainability strategy based on this guy's agenda. America anyways have been, like, always, like, very volatile. So that's why it's not target market for us as well. I think European Union is a large enough market for us. And even I'm thinking, during last years, Asia, for example, has become very, very interesting, like looking how big efforts they are doing, like really in reduction of emissions and creating new solutions for green energy, etc. So I'm not worried, but of course, you know, the sentiment is, of course, like creating some kind of like nervous environment. So let's just be strong and do not hesitate ourselves from those guys.
That's right. Yeah. Like US is very volatile, as you said, and things can change on a daily basis. So it's hard to make, you know, some quick decision based on that. Reaching to our last part, which is random questions about different topics I can ask you. I was checking your LinkedIn, and then I saw a post that you shared on December, and you said something that I can quote is that if you had to pick one thing I learned the most, it's magical power of courage to show up. So my question is that what kept you motivated to show up even during those challenging times over the last year?
I think it's kind of like my nature, you know, like I think the most great things in my life happened thanks to this philosophy, because like, you know, it's like 7 billion people on the earth, and or even more. And if you are not having courage to show up, you will just disappear in this mass. So it's the way how I'm used to be successful. And this is what I'm like really developing in my team. And we have seen like through the year a lot of great things happening thanks to, you know, just like, okay, let's try it. We know the chance is very low, but let's do it. So it's something which works for me and for our team, like naturally.
My next question is that what have you learned from your co-founders that has shaped how you approach leadership, problem solving, or just building a startup?
Yeah, I think we are very different personalities, which is like really cool. So it's first of all, like I think first more than a year, almost like 2 years when we are like working together, it's how we are solving like disagreements. I'm kind of like personality was very straightforward and result oriented, and I have learned that it's not the best way always, maybe that you need to actually take time and maybe like hear different opinions before you like make some final decision. Second, I think we are like 4 of us like constantly working on how to keep team motivated, though we are a remote team. So like most of people are working remotely. We are meeting once per week, like for office day, but mostly we are like, you know, who from where. So this is challenge what we are like founding team is all the time working with. And I would say that we are like kind of okay, but definitely there are like improvement possibilities there. And then like how we are dreaming about this business. So we have such traditions that once per quarter we are, you know, having wine with co-founders and discussing, okay, so from here, like 5 years further, like what do you think where we will be? And those like types of discussions are really, really interesting, you know, because you get totally different perspective, and it helps us, you know, to somehow like strive like together, like maybe like keeping in mind what your co-founders actually like consider important.
Yeah, I think it's good to be just this, like have this open place where you can actually share your opinion, but also your vision, because each co-founder's vision might be aligned, you know, with someone else, or actually it might be at some point later on, because yeah, like everyone has different thoughts about the business, and it's always good to talk about them, even if not considering at that moment, but good to be on the same page of knowledge sharing at least. So my next question is that what are some of your learnings from your corporate job that you're thankful for them that helping you now building your own business?
Yeah, I actually like to say that the bank where I started my career, it was like young bank at early 2000 in Estonia. It was first startup, in my opinion, which was created in Estonia, to be honest, because it was so like Hansabank was the name for this bank. It was so right in regards of this culture, how people were like, you know, like gathering around vision and then being like very, very like result oriented. That's why like speed was like super high. So I was lucky to be part of it during like 10 years. And I saw that how many things and how fastly you can do it actually with very limited resources, and how results should be rewarded like fairly. So this is like maybe like main lesson what I got from there. And second is what I learned like when a bank became more mature and became a Swedish organization in some points of time, that you need to balance very well between this result variation and caring about your people. Because like burnout is like huge problem, especially in startups. And it usually happens because founders are overlooking their like team members who are like maybe exceeding their limits, you know. This is what I learned like from my corporate experience. And I'm really, really careful, like, you know, like keeping in mind that and really like checking on my colleagues, like are they okay?
Yeah, it's good to just take some time off. And with the founders which I talk with, sometimes I just say, hey, just, you know, take the holidays. But also because when you're building your own startup, at least from my little experience, is that it's a very hype kind of moment, because you're just on this crazy ride and you're on this fast speed, and you can, you know, like you don't understand how crazy it is until you stop, and then you just feel the pain, you know, or just like feel how far have you gone. I think it's always good to take this small pauses just to recharge, and then, you know, be on this like normal, healthy style going forward. My last question is, what's one thing you wish more people understood about being a female founder?
Gosh, you know, I'm not the best person to talk about this female founder side, because I really do not get it. And maybe it's my personality.
Why not? Like, why you don't
I
get it?
never felt myself different in comparison to male founders. I think it's like misconception in our society that definitely has its roots. I'm just lucky not to be, you know, like somehow affected by that. But I don't like that it's so big hype in today's startup world, you know, like separate accelerators for female founders, separate programs, etc. Because what I'm afraid it's creating some kind of artificial environment for those founders. And then like those girls are going back to real world where most of founders are still men, and then they need to, you know, struggle with this like reality. So what I believe in diversity really strongly. And it's not because we are operating with ESG, but I think it's like common sense and life experience that as more diverse your team is in regards of gender, regards of age, regards of nationality, regards of expertises, the more like successful team you are. And it comes with life experience, you know, because like when you're 20, you want to like people in 20s around you because you understand them better. But actually you need to get people in 40 and then 50 because they know a lot of stuff what you never knew because you are so young. So I would encourage to look into diversity topics more, not so much like into gender specific.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with building a startup, because you really need different and very opposite opinions, because that's what's shaping, you know, your business and making success. Because if everyone is like, if there is a consensus, you know, in everything, then at some point something will go very wrong. Because just very hard to avoid that. So it will be nice just to have this diversity for sure, just not gender, but all those points which you mentioned. Thank you so much for doing this, Oksana. It was very great chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Yahid, for inviting.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.